Today we're speaking with John Panisi, the founder of Sit Down News, a platform where he shares his story and offers insight into a life once immersed in organized crime and now focused on personal redemption and reform. John, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's start with a little background. Tell us about yourself, your experiences in the Lucchese crime family, and how they affected your life today.
I grew up in Queens with an infatuation in organized crime. I got mixed up in different families at a young age and became a made member of New York's Lucchese crime family. As a made member, I was involved in bookmaking, extortion, loan sharking, and more. At 20, I was charged with manslaughter and spent 17 years in prison. In 2017, there was a massive Lucchese bust, and soon after, I started to feel like some members of the family thought I was a snitch. I felt like my life was in danger, so I decided to walk into the FBI office and cooperate with their investigation. I didn't do this to avoid prison time or being charged with a crime. I did it because my family turned on me and I had to do what I needed to do to protect myself. I didn't want to do it.
I could tell you that someone even getting a day in prison and you're a part of that, regardless of what they've done to me, it's not a good feeling because I know that feeling myself. I was there. I know what it is. I know what it is to be without your family and to be locked up and subjected to not the greatest treatment.
In 2019, I testified in a trial against Eugene Castell and revealed the current leadership of the family.
Going there, it's not a great feeling. It wasn't a feeling of revenge. It's a sickening feeling to me, having to go through that.
Since then, I've been under FBI protection and have been speaking out against organized crime to prevent more people from joining.
You and any of your listeners that, personally, when you're in that life, you cannot see clearly. And I always use the fishbowl, analogy, because you're inside of the fishbowl. But when you are out of that life or removed from that life, and now you're looking back on it or into the fishbowl, you see things that you did not see back then. And that's where, to me, the embarrassment comes from. When I was in a life, I was not embarrassed. I was just going about, being a member of the family. I seen a lot of things I disagreed with. I did see that, I was not blind. And, but now I'm in a different place in my life and it's an embarrassment to me the way even myself have acted. And then as a whole, I was part of something that, was not a positive.
You've often spoke about redemption and changing your life. Would you say your redemption's real, or do you feel like it's more of a public narrative?
That's an interesting question. I'd say it's probably a bit of both. The truth is, I've had to work very hard to change my life. The path I was on wasn't leading me anywhere good, and I had to make some serious decisions. Since being involved in the Lucchese family, I've expressed deep regret for my past actions, focused on positive community involvement, and advocated against a life of crime. I work to educate the public and encourage personal accountability through my blog Sit Down News and public speaking events. It's not just about putting on a show or trying to sell an image. I've had a lot of personal growth, but of course, the story itself has been a part of my journey to help others see that change is possible.
Many people view Sit Down News as a platform for discussing those past mistakes. Do you think the actions you're taking now are genuinely aimed at helping the community, or do you ever worry that it might just be seen as a facade?
I understand where people might see it that way, and honestly, there's always a risk when you put yourself out there. But the goal is genuine. If I can reach someone who's feeling trapped in the same world I was once a part of, then it's something worth doing. Sharing these stories, having these conversations, it's all aimed at providing guidance for people who might be lost.
Let's talk about the business side for a moment. How much are you profiting from the work you're doing with Sit Down News? Is there a financial aspect to your activities?
It's not something I hide. Yes, there's definitely a financial side to it. This is an online platform, and with any platform, there's the potential to earn revenue through views, ads, collaborations, etc. That said, I'm not just in it for the money. If I wanted to make a quick buck, I could have done it a different way. The goal has always been to educate people and keep them from making the same mistakes I did.
It's understandable. Running a platform is a lot of work. Do you think there's a risk, though, that some people might view your story and platform as a way from profiting from your past?
That's always a concern, and I get it. When you're coming from a background like mine, people always question your motives. But I've been honest from the beginning about my past and what I'm trying to do now. I'm not pretending to be perfect. I'm just here to share my journey, and if that helps someone, great. If people are skeptical, I can't change their minds, but my goal is to be transparent and help those I can.
Thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts with us today, John. We wish you continued success on your journey.
Thank you. In conclusion, the interview with John Panisi sheds light on the complexities of his life tied to organized crime to becoming a platform for redemption and guidance through sit-down news. While some may view his transformation as a public narrative, Panisi's commitment to helping others, feelings of regret, and sharing a story appears genuine. The platform, while profitable, is seen by Panisi as a tool for outreach rather than solely a business venture. Ultimately, it's clear that Panini's path is about both personal growth and using his platform to inspire others to change.
So ultimately, you regret joining the Mafia?
Absolutely. And today, as we sit here, absolutely. Because what I thought was not.
Our other guest today is Louis Ferranti. Louis Ferranti grew up in New York, and as a teen, he wasn't following the similar paths as his peers, but instead was drawn to organized crime. By his early 20s, Louis was running with the Gambino crime family, one of the most powerful mobs in the country. His specialty, armed robberies and hijackings, often pulling off jobs that made headlines without anyone ever knowing who was behind them. He was known as a top-tier getaway driver. He was fiercely loyal to the Gambino crime family, and in the world of organized crime, loyalty is everything.
In a truck is way different than a car.
Yeah, I'm stealing cars and I'm providing chop shop parts for all the auto body collision shops.
Eventually, though, the law caught up with him. Ferranti was arrested on federal racketeering charges and faced serious time, but even behind bars, he stayed true to the Omerta code. He didn't flip, didn't rat, he just did his time. And here's where the story takes a turn. While incarcerated, Louis had what you would call a complete awakening. He started reading philosophy, history, religion, even law books. He read so much, he even filed his own legal appeal where he won. Prison didn't break him, it rebuilt him. Piece by piece, he changed his mindset, and that changed his life.
Basically, the charges were the FBI wants to put a lot of pressure on me. So I get a lot of cases at once. So one of the cases was with Willie, was a credit card fraud case that morphed into that alleged shooting. And a robbery. They also gave us...
When Louis Ferranti got out of prison, he was a changed man. Shortly after his release, he wrote a memoir titled Unlocked: The Life and Crimes of a Mafia Insider, which became an instant hit. But he didn't stop there. Louis Ferranti went on to host Inside the Gangster's Code on the Discovery Channel, where he traveled the world exploring prison systems and gang cultures. He's also become a speaker where he inspires everyone from corporate executives to at-risk youth and advocates for smarter prison reform policies.
What did you do for the Camorra?
Camminavo armato.
For what?
Per capo.
The Camorra used you to shoot people too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to admit it, but how many people did the government claim that you...
From mob life to motivational speaker, today we sit down with Louis Ferranti. During our time, we ask the tough questions about authenticity, community impact, and whether he's truly reformed. Louis, let's get right to it. Is this redemption real or just a crafted narrative?
Yeah, my redemption, it's as real as the years I spent behind bars. Redemption isn't something you just say. It's something you live every day. I didn't pick up a few books in prison and call myself reformed. I had to go deep. I questioned everything, my past, my beliefs, my purpose. That kind of soul searching changes a person. So no, this isn't fiction. It's not PR. It's blood, sweat, and a lot of long nights with nothing but a book and a concrete wall.
Are you actively working to support the community and promote positive change?
Absolutely. I speak at prisons, schools, rehab centers, wherever there are people who feel stuck or lost, I'll show up. I don't just share my story though, I like to listen to theirs as well. I also work with organizations that focus on prison reform, reentry programs, and youth outreach. It's not about talking at people, it's about helping them to see what's possible, even if what the world's told them otherwise.
Do you believe these efforts are truly effective, or is there a chance it's more of a facade? Something that looks good on paper but doesn't go so deep?
Look, I don't need to pretend. I've lived on both sides of the line, and the people I speak to, they know real from fake. So if this was a facade, they'd see right through me in a second. I've had guys from max security come up and shake my hand and tell me they've picked up a book because of me. I've seen kids that were thinking about the street start thinking about school instead. That's not a facade, that's impact. If I can even reach one person, that's worth more than all the applause or a TV deal.
There's also the money question. How much are you profiting from your online presence and public persona?
Not as much as people might think, and certainly not compared to what I was pulling in off the streets. But I'm not in it for the money, I'm in it for the message. Yeah, I've got books out, I've done speaking gigs, had a show on Discovery, and I'm proud of that. But if I wanted to cash in, there were easier, flashier ways to do it. What I earn now, it's legit. It's honest, and most importantly, I sleep well at night. That's something money can't buy.
What drives you to keep doing this work, especially since you've already made it out?
Because I know there's a younger version of me out there right now, sitting in a cell or on a street corner, thinking he's got no other option. I do it for him, and for the families, the mothers, the teachers who are trying to help but don't always have the tools. I've been given a second chance, and I believe part of earning it means helping someone else get theirs. That's what keeps me going.
How do you measure success now compared to back then?
Back then, it was about fast money, power, reputation, but now success is waking up without fear. It's helping someone turn a corner. It's watching a guy in prison crack open a book instead of cracking someone's jaw. It's knowing my life has purpose. That's the kind of success you can't count in dollars, but is way more important.
Well, thanks for your time today, Louis. We wish you continued success in the future.
Louis Ferrante's story is one of transformation, resilience, and purpose. Through this interview, we explored the questions that often follow anyone who's lived on both sides of the law. Is the redemption real? Are the efforts meaningful? Or is it just another well-crafted narrative? Ferrante answered each with honesty and clarity, grounded not in rehearsed lines, but in lived experience. From mentoring inmates and at-risk youth to advocating for systemic reform, his actions speak louder than his words. In a world full of performances and personas, Louis Ferrante stands out as he's genuine. His redemption isn't fictional. It's the result of hard choices, deep introspection, and a daily commitment to doing better. And in that, his story becomes not just a redemption arc, but a roadmap for others looking to write their own.